Today, I'm going to take you back to May the 26th, 1999. "1999 was a big year for me. For one thing, it was the last year of the millennium. I was going to be 18 years old. I was going to become a man. My mother's long illness with cancer was coming to an end. It had become clear to me and my family that she was going to die. In times of great stress and trauma, you cling on to the things that mean something to you. And I thought long and hard of how to describe to you what Manchester United Football Club means to me. I guess I have to take you back to the start, the very beginning. Manchester United have a great history of overcoming adversity. In 1958, there was a great Manchester United team. They were called the Busby Babes, named after our manager, Sir Matt Busby. We made it all the way to the semi-finals of the European Cup that year. We played away to Red Star Belgrade, and on the flight home, there was an air disaster. The plane tried to take off several times, but ice on the runway made it impossible. The last time that they tried to take off, the plane overran the runway and crashed. It was a devastating loss. Young men as ages 17, 18 and 19 lost their lives. But we rebuilt, we came back, and within 10 years, Sir Matt and the Busby Babes had realised the dream of Manchester and become European champions.
At last, Matt Busby, the maestro of Manchester United, had groomed a team great enough to beat Europe's best. He was king of soccer. His wonderful 11 men were all princes.
There's so many moments of Manchester United's history that I could recall. I can remember being 5 or 6 years old and tuning into an old crackly wireless stereo to try and hear the scores, and hearing the faint sound of Manchester United winning 2-1 in the last minute. It's something that became a trend with me and United. It always seemed to come back. Staring defeat in the face, we'd throw our attacking players on. Sometimes we wouldn't win, but more often than not, we'd push the other team back, and we'd dominate them, and we'd get that vital last goal. Today we're going to focus on one particular match of the 1998-99 season. It was the European Cup final. We were up against Bayern Munich, the German champions. They were also going for what was called the historic treble. The treble means winning your own domestic league, your own domestic cup, and then being the best in Europe and winning the Champions League. To help me talk about that day and the build up to it, you're going to hear from my brother, Hugh, a lifelong Manchester United fan and a comrade. Barely a day goes by that we don't talk about football in some way. It's like a language and a brotherhood. It's like the words say, Manchester United. Man United. Obviously, it was a pretty grim time. Mum had just died.
She died on the 22nd, and the final was on Wednesday the 26th, so it was 4 days later.
Do you think it might seem a bit odd that we're talking about sort of being really invested in a football game just sort of 4 days after our mum died?
No, I don't think it's odd at all, because in many ways that was all we had. To the outsider, it can look ridiculous to someone who doesn't understand it, but it's about so much more than a bunch of men kicking a ball around a field. It's about connection, and it's about coming together for something, in the spirit of something. It's not easy to become a football fan. There's a lot you need to learn, but if you stick at it, you're welcome to one of the biggest, most friendly families on the planet. Cannot imagine getting through those Sundays where I used to come and sit with Mum. I used to come and sit with her for the day. I used to arrive on Saturday night, I would sleep over, I would come and sit with her for the day on Sunday. And I can't imagine getting through those without having United there. They were essential companions that season. There was some incredible things happened. It was the last ever semi-final replay, and I remember that. That was just amazing.
Past Vieira, past Dixon, who comes back at him. It's a wonderful run from Giggs. Sensational goal from Ryan Giggs in the second period of extra time. He's cut Arsenal to ribbons, and the team with 10 men go back in front 2-1.
There was the game against Juventus in the semi-finals.
York, he skipped through, it's Dwight York, he's brought down by Peruzzi, Cole will finish it off, full speed ahead, Barcelona! Manchester United are in sight of the European Cup final again!
I remember the third round against Liverpool at Old Trafford, and Liverpool were leading, and it was they were leading until the 88th minute, and it looked like we weren't going to be able to do anything. It looked like we weren't going to be able to get back in it, and then somehow we did.
Solskjaer! An incredible comeback by Manchester United. A complete turnaround in the closing minutes of the match. Liverpool absolutely stunned.
We scored 2 in 2 minutes, and Liverpool were gone.
One of the most important members of the team that year was our manager, now known as Sir Alex Ferguson. His inspiration, his undying, unwavering belief that Manchester United could always come back.
Alex Ferguson, they put you through the mill into injury time.
Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Football, bloody hell. But they never give in. And that's the winner.
Failure is not a problem. How you deal with it is a problem. And if you don't deal with it, then you'll fail again. I always feel that adversity has always driven Manchester United on. We don't like losing. And therefore, the human beings we've got and that character we've got in the dressing room has to come to the surface at moments where we've lost a game. Your attitude should be, I've got my chance, I'm in this world, I'm going to succeed.
There's a very strange kind of juxtapose between what was happening in our personal lives that year and what was happening with Manchester United. For us both to have our team showing this resilience and this energy and this fight and never giving up at the same time that really our mum was kind of giving up her fight on cancer.
I felt some sort of innate connection to United in a way. You know, they were going through this great thing, but I was trying to get through my life. I was trying to navigate, you know, the difficult situation of Mum's illness and knowing that her death was coming. Our lives have been really consumed by one thing only, and we could not see beyond that. And then suddenly, that chapter is finished. We've got a funeral coming up, but otherwise, after that, it's life continuing. We spent those few days, obviously, a bit emotional, kind of not really knowing what to do with ourselves. sort of keeping ourselves busy with vague possibilities. Really, life goes on, but in the best possible way. It was so much more than a football match. It was a piece of hope in the midst of it all. What was significant about that night was, really the kind of hope it gave me. United gave me tremendous strength that season to go through something that I really didn't know if I could go through. There was this excruciating pain having been on this journey with Mum, of seeing her kind of die slowly and painfully, and also coming to terms with that, and the kind of cellular separation that happens. You're never going to see that person again. The person who brought you into the world, the person who was the one who first held you. So it's like a part of you is dying, and at the same time, there's this kind of roar within you that of what cannot die.
All of this was coming to an end, because there is a finite amount of games. Even if you win all of your games, there's only so many games you can play, and then the season's over. So I guess in some ways we were coming to the end of the season at the same time we were coming to the end of our mother's life. So it was a time for endings as well.
Yeah, it was a time for endings, and we didn't know yet how it was going to end.
So it all came down to this final match. The final was to be held in the Nou Camp, home of Barcelona, in Spain. A towering arena holding nearly 100,000 people.
If you think about football stadiums, then the Nou Camp is the one that comes to mind. I'd seen us do so many great things. To me, the thought that we could lose to Bayern Munich in the final, inconceivable. This was really a chance to make history. And yet, here were the Germans showing up with a different reality.
All of our hope and anticipation was dashed as Bayern Munich scored the first goal.
It's Basler. Oh, deflected and in! First blood to Bayern Munich!
The first half ended with us losing 1-0 to Bayern Munich. Alex Ferguson now had 15 minutes with his team to try and motivate them and try and rally them on, to see if we could grasp some kind of control of the game and maybe get that one goal that we needed to get back in the tie.
Basically what he said to them is, at the end of this game, the cup will be just a matter of feet away from you. If you lose, you can't touch it. It was very difficult because it wasn't matching up with what I had hoped the game would be. And it was another time of thinking. We just had to dig deep, and they kept kind of dominating us.
Scholes there with the header, Janka with the overhead, hits the crossbar, twice the woodwork has saved Manchester United.
As a United fan, the game had been painful to watch. We'd been used to watching our team blow other teams away within the first 15 or 20 minutes. Attack, attack, attack football. But we weren't attacking at all. We looked like a boxer on the ropes. If this carried on, we'd want to throw the towel in.
We brought on more and more attacking players, and we threw everything into the pot really, and still it looked like it wasn't going to happen. Still it looked like it wasn't going to be enough. And I think by that time, we were in stoppage time.
Can Manchester United score? They always score.
What happened next is still a bit of a blur to me, even 20 years on. So there's no possible way I can explain it to you. Instead, I'm just going to play it to you as it happened on that night, May the 26th, 1999.
There is still time. Schmeichel's inside the Munich penalty area. Beckham crosses, stoppage time. Schmeichel jumps, falls to the far post towards York. Half cleared, Giggs shoots, Sheringham equalises! Kenny Sheringham has equalised in stoppage time for Manchester United! Can you believe it?
She died on the 22nd, and the final's on Wednesday the 26th, so it was 4 days later. Because in many ways, that was all we had.
As the pendulum swung, red flares go off at the end to our left. We've got about a minute of stoppage time to go.
To the outsider, it can look ridiculous to someone who doesn't understand it, but it's about so much more than a bunch of men kicking a ball around the field. It's about connection, and it's about coming together for something, in the spirit of something.
It's now Manchester United 1, Bayern Munich 1. Kenny Sheringham's vital contribution as it's laid forward by Irwin, and Solskjaer's after it, and he's onside, and Sheringham makes a run into the penalty area. Solskjaer, just to the left of the box, tries to pull the cross back and hits Kapoor, and it's a corner to Manchester United.
It's not easy to become a football fan. There's a lot you need to learn, but if you stick at it, you're welcome to one of the biggest, most friendly families on the planet.
Surely not a winner in stoppage time. We've already had an equaliser. Beckham crosses from the left, right-footed, it's a clear header, and it's lifted into the net. Solskjaer has won the European Cup for Manchester United. It's absolutely astonishing. It was Sheringham who headed it on, and Solskjaer stabbed the ball with his right foot into the roof of the net, and Manchester United rule Europe. I don't believe it, but it's happened. They've come from 1-0 down in stoppage time to beat Bayern Munich. And the Munich players are on their knees. They don't know what's hit them. Manchester's hit them.